Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night from when you're watching this video. This is John from IT Skills Academy, and in today's video I'll be showing you how you can be able to create this simple navigation bar. So as you can see, we are starting with the logo here and the name navigation. Of course, you expect to have the name of the company and the logo. Then we have the nav items and the active item. As you can see, it has this specific line at the bottom here to mark that it is the active nav item. Then we have this hovering effect, and of course on this other end we have these two buttons. On hovering over the login, we are now able to see that specific background color there, and of course now we expect to have the content below here. So this is a fully responsive navigation bar. So if you may just show you that, I can try to resize the screen here. And as you can see at this specific breakpoint, let me just show you that. So at this specific breakpoint, we are still able to see the nav items as you would expect, and these login and sign up buttons. But if we keep on reducing the size of the screen, at this now specific breakpoint, now we have the nav items hidden, and we're able now to see the button upon which when we click we are able to see the nav items appear. So of course when I click on it again, it will be able to hide that. So this is the simple navigation that we are going to create in this video using tailwind CSS. But before we continue, remember this channel has a name of hitting 1,000 subscribers by the end of this month. Currently we are at 902. So if you're watching this content and you love it, then I would kindly request you to click that subscribe button, smash the notification bell so that you're notified every time I release a new video. So that out of the way, let's get this started, shall we? Well, to get us started, I have already created this project folder, and I have named it top navbar. And upon opening this specific folder, we're going to see that we have some files inside here, and as you can tell, these are basically tailwind CSS files. This is because I've already installed tailwind CSS in this computer and in this specific project. So if you don't know how to get started with tailwind CSS, I've already created a video that shows you the basics of tailwind CSS. I'll be leaving a link in the description of this video so that you can go check it out. You'll also be able to learn how you can be able to install tailwind CSS. But if you may just show you a quick one, basically when you visit tailwind.com/docs/installation, you'll be able to see the various options that you can use to get started with tailwind CSS, and one of the simplest one is the CDN, because this one you just be expected to just come and grab this specific script and have it within or on top of the end of your HTML file. But with me, I have gone with tailwind CLI, which is one of the simplest and fastest ways again to get started with tailwind CSS. So in my video now, I have explained how you can go through these steps so that you have tailwind installed in your machine and be able to use it to style your files. So getting back to our project folder, we also have the CRC folder, and of course here it's where we have the style. So this is basically where we have the tailwind base, there are tailwind components, there are tailwind utilities, and getting back, we now also have the public folder. So inside the public folder, basically what we have here are the images that we are going to use in this specific project. We also have the JS file, because we'll be having some JavaScript file, or we'll be requiring JavaScript. And of course now going back, we now have the index.html. So this will be our project file, and we also have the output.css. So the output.css and the style.css, so these are files that you're going to create when you install tailwind CSS. But if you're using tailwind CDN, play CDN, you don't need to have the output.css or the style or input.css. Okay, so let me just head on to Visual Studio, which is the IDE or text editor that we'll be using for this specific project. So here I am already, and I have already created the basic HTML structure for our project, just to make things fast. I have several links here. So the first one is a link to the Google Fonts. I have already using its CDN linked to the alpine.min.js, so that one will be helping us to be able to toggle the nav items. And also I've also been able to link to the JavaScript file that we'll be requiring for this specific project. So here it is. And also now for our styling, I have linked to the output.css. So remember, if you're using the CDN, you just need to have the CDN script within the head of your HTML here, and in that case you don't need the output.css, but you may require the JavaScript file and also the alpine.min.js. So I already have these comments here that will basically guide us as we create this project. So without so much ado, let's get this started. So basically what I'm just going to start with here is I'm going to come and create a nav, and inside this nav I'm going to have at least 3 containers. So that will be my first one. So I'm going to duplicate these 3 times. So inside the navbar we are going to have at least 3 containers. So that will be our first one. I'll also need another one, and I'll also need a third one, like that. So it is in the innermost container that we are going to have our first content here, and also with that, which will be our logo. So in that case I can just come and grab this and have it inside here, because this will be basically where we are going to have our website logo. And for our website logo, again I'm going to wrap it with a div, so it will be within that specific container. So we basically use containers so that we are able to like specifically style the parts of the website. So inside here I'm going to have an anchor tag, so I will have that link there. So this for now we just go nowhere, so I'm just going to have it with the hashtag. And now inside the nav, or inside the anchor tag, sorry, I'm going to have the image, so that will be our website logo. So for this one I'm going to get this image from the images folder. As we have seen, we have this specific folder called images, and this is where we have the specific images that we're going to use for this project. So the image that I want is the fb.png, so I'm just going to grab that. Maybe with alt I can just come and call it a logo, and just to style this logo so that we have it in the specific size and in the specific appearance that we want, I'm just going to have a class here. And the first thing that I want to do is to identify or state its size. So I'm just going to come and talk of height being 8, and the width being 8 as well. And I'm also going to have a margin height of 2, so ML2. So we have already now styled our logo there, so we have it in the specific size that we want, and also in that specific position. We also want to have the text. So for this one I'm going to have it within a span, and here we are just going to come and have the navigation. So I'm just going to come and say navigation. Alright, so the first thing that we are going to do is we are going to say that we want it to be semi-bold. So for that I'm just going to come and say font semi-bold. And for the color we are going to have it with a gray color, and we want to have it at 500. So that is basically the saturation, and of course we want this text size to be large, so text LG. So we've already styled our website logo, so we have the image being this size and we have the specific text, so that will be just next to it. Okay, so before we continue with the rest of the other stuff, I would also want to style these two images further, because right now they are just one on top of each other, so I need to add some specific classes here. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the nav here, and I'm going to give it a class. So for this one, the first thing that I want to do is to give it a background color of white, so BG white, and I also want it to have a shadow, so I'm going to talk of shadow, and this will be a large shadow. Sorry for the spelling here, it should not have an N. Okay, so that will be our nav. So of course we expect to have it in a white background and having that large shadow. We also want to give it a certain width, so for that I'm going to come and talk of class, and here I'm going to talk of a max width of 6SL. So 6XL, so that is basically the size of our navigation bar, and we're also going to talk of the margin, so MX it should be auto. So that is the margin on the x-axis, and also the padding on the x-axis. So here we are talking of right and left, so that will be 4. Okay, so we have it with the size and with the padding that we want, and also the margin. So it basically means that it will be centered in a way, or the contents will be centered in a way. Alright, so to have the items in this specific navigation bar aligned horizontally, we're going to have this div with a class. And as you'd expect, if you want to align your items horizontally in tailwind CSS, we basically just use flex, and we also want to be able to space these items out, and we want the space between them to be equal. So for that we are going to have it with this class of justify between. So basically this what you'll do is that you'll have the items spaced out equally, so they will not just be aligned horizontally, but they will be spaced out, and the space between them will be equal. So we're also going to come and also have the flex down here once again. So you'll notice that when you're creating a navbar using tailwind CSS, you're going to use flex a lot, because you just like try to align your items in a specific layout or order. So we also want to space these items further, and this basically for our website logo. So in that case I'm going to talk of flex, and also space x 7. So this basically again the space on the horizontal layout or the x-axis. We want to space these items, and the specific items that we are referring to here are these two, so our image and this specific text. So they will be aligned horizontally, that is in regards to, that is courtesy of this class here flex. We're able to have this in a row, and with the space x7 we're able to have them spaced out, and this will be the distance between them. So that's it for that, and now these two are now styled as you would expect. We are going to see that in a moment, so let's just continue with the rest of the content here. And the next thing that we are going to do now, so I can just come and have this one, I can just come and have this one just below here, yeah, just so that everything is clear. So that will be the logo. So the next thing that you're going to have here is the primary navbar items. So I'm just going to come and have that below there, like so. So now for the primary navbar items, we are again going to have it within a container. So I'll create a div, and now within this div we are just going to have these navbar items in anchor tags. So instead of having LIs, or instead of having it in a list, still you can have it within a list, but one of the common threads in navigation items or navbar items is just using anchor tags, but still it's not like it's bad to use the list. So for me, I'm just going to use the anchor tag or the links here, and for now they'll not be heading anywhere. And basically now here we are going to have some text, but before we have that, let me just duplicate this. Of course you can be able to use I think JavaScript to just avoid repetition, just like creating components or something. For me, I'm just going to put it or keep it simple. So I'm just going to come and duplicate this, but with tailwind CSS you can try to avoid this repetition and create sort of what they call components or something. Okay, so for this one, I'm just going to come and call it home. The other one I can call it services. We also have the about here, and we have the content, the contact us, and that's it. So I can just get rid of the extra one here. So that's basically what we have as the primary nav items. And so now we can just try to style them a little. So I'm just going to basically go to the container here, and the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to have them hidden. Of course this means that they will be hidden on small devices. So hidden, and now on the medium screen, or at this specific breakpoint, I'm going to have these items flex. So this means that they will be in a low, and I'm also going to have them centered. So for that case I can just say items center, and I also want to state the space between them, so that will be 1. So on small devices they will be hidden, and on medium devices they will appear, and they will be in a row, and they will be centered, and the space between them will be this. Okay, so we also want to style our anchor tags here. So for that case I'm going to have a class here, and because they are the same, I can just try to make it fast here. So I can just press the first one there, hold Alt and select the next one, the other one like that. And so here I can have them with a class. And the first thing that I want to do is to give them a padding top and padding bottom of 4, padding top and bottom of 4, padding right and left of 2, and the text should be green, 500. We should also have them in semi-bold, so semi-bold, and on hover we should come and have them with text green of 500, and we should also put a transition of a duration 300. And sorry, this one should not be green, of course, because we have the hover being green here. We should also not have this one being green. We should have this with a different color. And of course, as you have seen, and as you might have seen, it will be a gray in color, and on hover we're going to have it with 500. So that's basically it. But of course, remember, for the home we do have it with that line below it, if you have seen the demo. So for that case, I'm just going to come here and talk of about the bottom of 4, and I should also now come and give it a color, so it should be green 500. So that's basically it for the primary nav items. And now the next thing that we are creating is the secondary nav items. And by the secondary nav items, I just mean the buttons, that is the login and the sign up buttons. So for that one, we're just going to come and skip this specific container here, and we're just going to have the content now starting from somewhere here. So I'll have that specific comment there, so that now we have our content below here. And basically what I'll do is I'll have a container here, and I'll have it with some anchor tags. So these will be 2, because we have 2 buttons. So I'll duplicate that as usual, and the first one will be the login and the other one will be sign up. So just like that, and we are done with the HTML part of the secondary nav items. We just now want to style them, and of course we want them to be in a row. So the first thing that we want to do is to have a class here, and of course on small devices we expect them to be hidden, but on this breakpoint, the medium, we should have them flex, and we should have the items being at the center, and for the space between them horizontally, we should have them with. Alright, so that's it for the container there. So we also want to style the specific items. So for that, just like we've done with the previous one, we are going to give them a class, and for this, the first thing that we're going to do, of course, just like the previous one, again we're going to have them with a py of 2, px of 2. The font should be medium, and the text color should be white. This because they will be on a background, specific background color. Of course, we're going to change the first one because it will have a background color, but the other one won't have. We also want them to be loaded, and also on hover we should talk of BG green of 500, and for the transition we should talk of duration of 300. Okay, so the first one will be a little bit different in terms of color. So this one, instead of being white, because it will be on a white background, we should talk of gray, maybe 500. So for the second one, the BG will appear by default, but for the first one, the BG will appear on hover. Well, before we continue, I would like us to first of all have a preview of what we've created so far. And so for that, because I have already installed a live server in Visual Studio, I can be able to just come down here and say go live, and that will basically open my project with my default browser. And here is what we have created so far. So we are able to see the logo here. the nav items. We also expect to see some buttons here, but seems we cannot see them right now, but that's something that we can fix. And we also need to fix this so that they are aligned or positioned horizontally instead of aligned vertically as they are right now. So it should be something that is very easy. So let's just get to Visual Studio and try to fix that. So one of the reasons as to why the buttons might be hidden could be because of this class that we added here, all these MB flex. So in fact this one should not be MB, it should be MD, because we are talking of medium screens. Like in this black point, we should have the items flex, and they should be aligned at the center with a space of x3. So that is one of the things that might be making us to miss those buttons there. And by just changing or fixing this, we have everything back to normal. And we also now need to fix the logo, so the website logo here. And it seems like this flex didn't work for this, so let me see. Well, so one of the things that we can do is we can just give this anchor tag a class of flex and see if the items will just flex there. So I'll talk of flex, and we can also talk of items center. Okay, so this is what we got. So at least these are now aligned in a low, but still they should be aligned with these nav items here, like they should be in a low. We also have these ones, yes, they are appearing well, but they are on hover, but we at least want to have one being visible, like having a background color like this one. So let's see how we can quickly fix that. So for this one, let me just remove this class from the anchor tag, and instead I put it on the container. So let me grab this, and instead of having it there, we have it in the div that holds the logo, so somewhere there. So that thing should fix that. And also for the secondary nav items, where we are having the login and the sign up, we should at least have one having the background of green without the hovering. So I think it should be the second one. So let me just get rid of this one, and that should fix the problem. Okay, so we have that fixed, so that is okay. But still this one giving us issues. Let me see. So this should be quick to fix, I hope so. Cross flex. Let me just come and just get rid of these, and instead I talk of flex items center. Alright, so that is still not fixing our problem. So let me just show you how we can quickly do this. So we're just going to come and remove all of this. So we just make this div to flex, just that div, and then we are going to come to the anchor tag here and also make it to flex as well. So I'm just going to come and say flex. So let's check that. Yes, so now it is flexing the way we want, but now we want to align it at the center, like with these nav items. So with that, I can just come here and talk of items center. And so now we can try to check that out, and now as you can see, they are aligned as we would want. So we have the logo there. Maybe we can make it bigger or something, but let's just have it like that. And then we have the content there. We have this login, just having that background color on hover, and then you have this sign up button there, just having that sign up or that background color. So that's it, and I think everything is taking shape. So now we want to be able to create the nav items, and still you see in this specific area here we still have some issues, but we'll be fixing that as we continue, because the size should not be this small. So but for now, let's just continue. So one of the other things that we can do is we can just come and get rid of this class here. Although that was working, but still it will lead us to some issues moving forward. So I can just come and get rid of that flex in the container. I just come to the anchor tag here, and what I can do is that I can add a padding bottom and top of at least 2, and I can also talk about the padding X, that is left and right of 2. So let's see how that looks. Yes, now you can see that one is able now to have the size here being at least a reasonable size. And if we try to resize this and make this screen bigger, we're able to see these items here. So now the next thing that you want to do is to work on the mobile size, so that now when it is at this size, yes, the items are hidden, but still we want to be able to see the hamburger icon here that we can click, and upon clicking we can see the nav items appear. So let's try to work on that. Right, so for our mobile menu button, basically what we are just going to do is we're going to create a container first, and it's within this container that we're going to have the button. So I'm just going to come and talk of a button, and of course we need to style this button a little bit. So I'm just going to come and again add a class here, and for this class I'm just going to come and add outline none, and also we're also going to come and talk of mobile menu button. Okay, so that's there. So that's basically it for the button. And of course now inside the button we're just going to have an SVG for a menu. So for that I already have the Hilo Icons website ready. So these are icons provided by tailwind CSS. So I can go with this one, but I'm thinking of having a different one there, just to try to be a little bit unique. Let me just try to go with this one and see how that will look. So I'm just going to come and paste that here, just to have a different style. You can go with the normal menu, doesn't matter. Yeah, so that is appearing there as we would expect. And now we want to style this container. So we only want to show these on small black points or small screens. So for that we're just going to come and say that on medium screens we should have this container being hidden, and also the flex should be items center. Good, and that's it for that specific mobile button as of now. So at this specific size we don't have that menu here, but if we reduce the size like this we're able to see the specific menu appear here, but at least we have that there. So the next thing that we now want to work on is now to make these active, like to make it workable, like when we click it we should see the menu actually appear here. So let's just do that right now. So we'll have some JavaScript helping us to be able to achieve this, but before we get there we need to have that mobile nav items. So I'm just going to come and grab these, being one of the last thing that we'll be doing here for the HTML. And for this one I'm just going to come and have it below here. So let me just come and try to get rid of these spaces here. Well, so yeah, somehow, although it's not that well organized, but still we can just go with it as it is. So I can just come and have that comment there, And so now we're going to have the mobile nav items here, and as usual we'll of course have it within a container div. And what I can do is I can just come and grab what we have here for the primary nav items. So this one, just to try and save some retro time, so I'll grab that, and I want to have that just inside this container, like so. Yeah, so that one should appear like so. And now we're just going to come and change the hovering effect. Instead of the text changing the color, we should have it being the background. So for that case, I can just come and grab this, this, and this. I delete that and I talk of BG instead of text. And I should also come and talk about the display being block. So at the very beginning here of our classes, I can just come and add block to all of them. Yeah, so it is now block. And we should also have the text being small, so I can talk of text SM. Yeah, you can have it in whichever size. Yeah, and I think that's about it. And in the very first one here, I should also not forget to include the block. By the way, I forgot this. So you should have the block here, and also we also need to have the text being small. And this one of course again should change to BG, just like with the rest. Yeah, and that's it. So let's see how that works. Oh, sorry, we have a very big problem here. We need to have that fixed. And now all that we need to do is to just come to the container here and add a class. So basically what we just want to tell it here is that on large screens and medium screens it should be hidden. So like we should only see it on small screens. So I can just come and talk of hidden and mobile. Sorry, I should have this as mobile menu, just like that. And now yeah, we now have it being hidden, and even when we make it to go to that breakpoint, we still have it being hidden. Now we need to work on this menu button, so that now we can be toggling between showing and hiding the nav items on a mobile device. Okay, so let's work on that. So one of the things that we can make this button work as would expect, like the button to help us to be able to toggle between hiding and showing the nav items or mobile nav items, well, we can add some script. And for that specific script, I'm just going to have it below the body here. So I'm just going to come and create some space here, and I'm going to have that script down there. So basically this script will just be helping us to as I've mentioned, toggle between hiding and showing the mobile nav items. So if we just check that right now, I can just head on here and have that refreshed once again. And so now when I click on this, I should see the nav item appear, and when I click on it again, it should be hidden. But on a large screen we should not have anything, so the nav items should be displayed by default. So if we click on this, we see that we have this specific issue here. You still can have it like this if you want, but for me this was not the intention. So let me just try to fix that. So let me see. Oh, sorry, this one should not be BG but should be text. Yeah, so that is refreshed, and now we have it like that. So I think for me that's what I intended to have there. Yeah, you can still play around with the colors there just to make it look the way you want. All right, yeah, so that's it there. And still looks like we have something that we need to fix here. So let me just quickly see how we can fix that. Yeah, so we can talk of this padding top and bottom being 4. Yeah, that should move it that way. So we have now the items aligned as we would expect, and let's see if that affects this. Yeah, so it doesn't affect it, so it is okay. In some cases you may also like try to play around with this so that on this size this logo comes at the center. So it's something that you can try to play around with. And that's it for this very short video. It was all about how you can be able to create a responsive navbar using tailwind CSS. So I do hope the video was insightful. So if it was, kindly share it with your friends. If you have not subscribed to this channel, I would kindly request you to subscribe, and also turn on the notification bell so that you're notified every time I release a new video. So I always try to release 2 videos on a weekly basis or even more. So you would like to turn on that notification bell so that you're notified every time I upload a new video. That's it for now, and as usual, see you in the next one. So bye, and thank you for watching my content until the very end.